Yo, what is going on, guys? So we just had week 1 of college football Saturday. We had 3 main big games going on, but basically back to back. We had Clemson and Georgia, we had Miami and Florida, and then we had Texas A&M and Notre Dame. I want to get into really the teams that lost. As far as Texas A&M though, I'm giving them a pass. They got a new coach, Mike Elko, over there, and it was a really close competitive game. I mean, I thought the game was pretty entertaining, even though it was like kind of a ugly game, lots of defense. I thought it was pretty entertaining because with those types of games, man, like every single big play really matters. I want to get into Clemson and Florida. They both had really bad losses. Let's start with Clemson. They have really fallen off from their heights of Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson and winning the national championships and getting to the playoff basically every year with Dabo Swinney. There was conversation at one point, can Dabo Swinney be the next Nick Saban? And at this point, it's looking like Kirby Smart has taken that role from him. We've seen Kirby Smart has been able to beat out Dabo Swinney, not just in the games, but in recruiting, in transfer portal, basically in coaching, in everything. This game was pretty bad for Clemson, especially offensively. They only scored 3 points all game, and you look back to the last time they only scored 3 points in a game, it was against Georgia back when they had DJU at quarterback. That was like a 10-3 game, really ugly. They couldn't score at all. They haven't been able to get that high-powered offense back from where they were with Trevor Lawrence back in like 2019, 2020. Getting into this game, the loss itself was expected. You're going into Atlanta against Georgia, the #1 preseason team. Obviously, lots of hype around Georgia as always. The loss is expected. The thing that really got me was this game was close. I mean, you look at halftime, it was 6-0. The defense was keeping Clemson in it at halftime. Then the second half comes around. Georgia makes adjustments. They go down. First drive coming out of the half. They score a touchdown. And at that point, you thought, okay, yeah, it's over. It's 13-0 at that point. And even though it was just 13-point game, you knew from that point it was over just because the Clemson offense could not do anything. There was no like inventive play calling whatsoever. Lots of just check downs. The run game couldn't get much with that because that Georgia front is so dominant. Basically, if you're going to be able to beat Georgia, you have to still be able to be physical, have a physical defense, but you have to have playmakers out there and go and make plays. I mean, you only scored 3 points the entire game. So overall, the big takeaway from this is Dabo Swinney has been left behind. Honestly, he was the heir apparent to Nick Saban in terms of like dominant coaches. All of a sudden you turn around, Kirby Smart is the next heir apparent, and Dabo Swinney has been completely left behind. As far as the rest of the season goes for Clemson though, I don't think it's over for them. Obviously, they've had tough losses like this before and they've come back. Last season, they put together a string of wins at the end of the season, so they can get back into it. But overall, as a thing where we're looking at Clemson as a national powerhouse, that's no more. So really, another big takeaway from this is that Miami is the clear favorite in the ACC at this point. So let's get into that game, Miami versus Florida. This was also supposed to be a good marquee matchup game. Miami ranked, technically, looked at as the better team. Florida's got the home field advantage. They're in the swamp. That should even things out, right? In the beginning, it was pretty even, but as it went on, it was apparent that Miami's offense was going to blow out this Florida team. Offensively, again, this is another case of no inventive play calling from the Florida side. I will say, Miami, it's definitely a combination of Miami is really good this year and Florida is pretty bad this year. It's a combination. It's not just one or the other. Even you look at the defensive side where Florida is supposed to, hang their hat on their defensive side. They were getting cooked out there. There's no, easing up in their schedule, really. You look down their schedule, 3 wins at this point. You look at this, I thought Florida could win this game. I thought they could go in. They have the home field advantage. Hey, let's get something. Graham Mertz improve. It's obvious Graham Mertz, he's good, but just not good enough. To Graham Mertz, 91 passing yards is unacceptable, man. He is near the bottom in terms of quarterbacks in the SEC. That's for sure. And with this loaded conference, Florida, obviously the #1 toughest schedule in the country. I see them getting three games at this point. Whereas, before, I look at this game and I just have no confidence in Florida and it just looked bad. I think one thing is almost certain is that Billy Napier will be gone by the end of the season. He just hasn't been able to turn things around. You look at where they were previously. They were competing for, SEC East Division. They were in the SEC championship game. And now you look at them, they've completely fallen off under Billy Napier. As far as Florida, I think you can say season over. But, is that an overreaction from one game? Maybe. But you look at their schedule, you look at what the other SEC teams did this weekend. Obviously we still have LSU. But you look at throughout the SEC, there's not many teams that I would say Florida is better than. For Clemson, I don't think it's season over, but Dabo Swinney, he has to change his ways, or else he might be gone by, the next season, in a couple seasons, if he doesn't change, if they have another sub 10 win season, because the expectations are very high at Clemson. What do you guys think about these two teams and these two games? Is the season completely over for these two teams? Can they bounce back? Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. We are almost to 1,000 subscribers. The goal is to get there by the end of the year, by this end of this football season. Can we get to 1,000 subscribers? If you are liking the videos, make sure to go down and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.